Let's rebuild my sound kit. First I remove the harness clips and rain guard, disconnect the antennas, remove the batteries, and unplug the CommTech transmitter. I pull the timecode, camera hop, antenna, headphone, and power cables from the right side, and coiled XLR and antenna cables from the left side. Next I undo the straps holding the A33 in place and slide it out, not forgetting the Bluetooth antenna and the two small SMA connectors on the SL-2, as well as the power cable for the third A10. The sound device is A33 and SL-2 with A10 RX is the heart of my audio kit. The power cup comes next, then the timecode and antenna cables, as well as the camera hop transmitter. Disconnecting two more SMA cables frees the third A10 RX from the bag. This receiver uses two SMA to MCX antenna cables that plug directly into the sides of the SL-2. Clearing out the last of the cables is a BNC to SMA cable pairing that I use to connect the SL-2 to an antenna. Another aux cord comes out, and then it's time to remove the headphone whip. I use the yellow straps to secure the blue cable in place. This short whip moves my headphone connection point to the outside of the bag. I'm embarrassed to admit I spent 3.5 minutes trying unsuccessfully to remove the cable tie before giving up and deciding it could just stay there. Moving to the bottom of the bag, we have my emergency battery, an NP50 by Hawkwoods. This battery can provide my entire bag with at least another hour of operating time. From the side pockets comes a bag of adapters, A20 mini clip and CommTech key, BNC cables, lav tape, an SD card, and so on. The kickstand comes out next, and a D-clip cable tie I use for XLR work. Now for a problem spot. Rain has caused the internal components of my antenna arms to rust up. I'm going to remove the old arm by spinning it off the bag. I already had to replace one arm. You can see the rust in the joints here. I removed the quick release and set it aside. The Noga arm was recommended by several people, and I've chosen to go with a pair. They are built to hold small monitors and feel much sturdier and heavier than my previous set. The Noga arms could be considered overkill, but they hold my shark fin antennas in place and I don't have to worry about drooping. The K-Tech bag has two mounting points where I can screw the arms into place. I use Rycoat quick releases with an adapter for thread size. This allows me to quickly change antennas on the job, and with that, the bag is mostly empty. I slide the sound devices A33 and SL-2 back inside the Stingray bag. The straps on either side go through the two mount points on the A33, securing the rig to the bag. I plug the headphone cable back in and then proceed with sliding the A10 dual receiver into the elastic loop on the bag. I retrieved the bottom plate for an A10 receiver from storage. In this box are some timecode cables, not what we're here for. Aha! The A20 dual receiver, also not what we're here for. What we're here for is the Gotham Sound scarf. I'm joking, of course, but I did get a lot of use out of that scarf. Back to the A20 RX. Sound Devices has this new recyclable packaging that I love. The first pouch has the antennas, which we'll come back for. Unfolding the second pouch reveals the shiny new A20 RX, which I chose to buy without a backplate to save some money. I attached the XLR backplate using a set of 4 screws that I had buried deep in storage from when I upgraded to the SL-2. The receiver comes with a set of antennas, A1, B1, and uncut. I'm going to slide the A20 RX into the bag while completely obstructing the camera with my unkempt hair, and here we have the first image of my 8-channel wireless bag. I've done 8-channel jobs in the past, but only with rental units. While moving to plug in XLR cables, I noticed the left flap was still bulky, and checked the pocket to discover a few more items inside. Battery sleeve, mic drop, bumblebee tape, and a micro USB cable. I'm going to add mini XLR cables to channel inputs 4, 5, and 6, which I will use for the receivers I just added. I'll also be adding an XLR extender to channel input 1. Channel inputs of 1 through 4 of wireless audio are coming in through the SL-2. These 4 cables will be inputs 5 through 8. Flipping to the top, I run the timecode cable through the front pouch, under the A33, and into the timecode port. I have a cable that goes from X1 out to a G3 transmitter that feeds my camera hops or boom operator. Then comes the CommTech cable into X3, X4 out. Under the bag, we have cable spaghetti. It isn't really too complicated, but certainly took a few minutes to plan out. I'm using physical inputs 1, 4, 5, and 6 to feed channels 5, 6, 7, and 8 from dual receiver 3 and 4. I plug receiver 3 out 1 into A33 input 1 and out 2 into input 4. On receiver 4, channel 1 goes into A33 input 5 and channel 2 goes into input 6. Both receivers are plugged into the SL-2 for power. These 4 channels will be digitally routed to ISO tracks 5 through 8 and physically tucked up into the bag. The spare battery is positioned into the gap and will be secured to the bottom flap once contact is made. Next, I'm going to power cycle everything to make sure it turns on. The main power source is not connected at the moment, but I have 2 batteries attached to the A33 that can power the whole rig for about 25 minutes. This allows me to hot swap batteries without the need to power anything down. The rebuild continues with the MCX to SMA cables, which push into the small ports on each side of the SL-2. These cables are fed through the bag and attached to receiver 3. I noticed the main unit was unstable at this point, so I added 2 spacers to help with the positioning. I also decided to remove the divider from the bag to allow more airflow and to take some pressure off the receivers. The primary battery is next. I use a Hawkwood's NP1 to TA5 power cup. I put the Comtech and camera hop transmitter in the pouch for now, but swapped them out later in favor of a second NP98 battery. Antenna cables are next, attaching the SMA connector to the SL-2. The Bluetooth antenna also screws back onto the A33. Then, the Betso bow tie antennas are mounted using the Rycote quick releases. The combination of Noga and Betso arms allows the antennas to be positioned freely. The BNC cables are reattached and the antennas are positioned for mobile work. Now the bag is almost complete. I move the G3 to an inner pocket to make room for the timecode cable. I leave a Limo 5 cable adapter attached to the BNC output. Now this ended up being a bad spot for the kickstand. It's a support system. Don't use it like a pocket. I'm going to put whips on these 2 SMA ports on receiver 4. I store my coiled XLR cable in the side pouch. I added the tape on day 1 to reinforce the connection, and now it's almost 10 years old. The bag of adapters is next, and seeing the selection makes me want to rethink it. Also, the mic drop goes back into the mixer bag. Lastly, the harness clips go back into the bag. Everything else you see scattered around didn't make the cut, except the pink USB SD card reader. One final power cycle to confirm everything is working. I also had to flip the orientation of the 4th receiver's screen. I did the channel routing the following day off camera. Let me know in the comments what you enjoyed about this video series and what you want to see more of. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you follow for more.